I have to focus on other things. I literally have to distract myself with people, with prayer, with doing any good for somebody else that I can do, so that I can will to love my cross. Because it's not pretty. People look at me and some people probably think I'm a freak. I don't fit in to society. I know that. I don't really care, because if I'm gonna dwell on what I can't have, then I'm gonna be a really sad person. And I don't want to be a sad person. My name is Therese Williams. I'm the youngest in the family of 15 children. I contracted spinal meningitis when I was 18 months old. Before that, I could walk. I walked at 9 months old. Doctors were predicting things all the time to me. Mom took me to orthopedic doctors. One in particular, she took me to find out if they could do a back operation on me, to put rods in my back to straighten out my back. After having that evaluation, the doctor told us he could do the operation, but I would never get off the operating table because of my breathing. So we said, well, that's silly. We're not gonna do that. Another doctor I went to was for my hands. They wanted to straighten out my fingers. Cosmetically, it looks great, but when my fingers are straight, I can't use them. They become stiff as boards, and I can't use them. So Mom said, well, we're not gonna take away her independence. Finally, after going to doctor after doctor after doctor, Dad just said, we need to stop. This is enough. We know everything we're gonna know. Teresa's not gonna get any better. We're not trying to change what we can't change, so let's work on her brain. I wanted a college education. That's how my parents raised me. You can do anything you set your mind to, Therese. It may be slower. That's okay. Graduating from Ave Maria University was a decision that I did not make initially when I started. I wasn't at all sure I could handle a college workload because I had come from homeschooling. So I was a little bit afraid that I wasn't academically up to the challenge. I figured out that I could take 2 courses a semester. I was able to make good, solid relationships, friendships, and they worked with me. Yeah, so 11 years, and that's the way it went. Father Garrity was the one who showed me how to graduate a year earlier than I had anticipated. Things others take for granted. feeding yourself, wiping your eyes, nose, ears, whatever part of the body you need to itch, brushing your hair, moving from place to place. Like literally, when I'm across the room and I'm trying to listen to the girls talking on the couch, others might take for granted that I can hear what they're saying from across the room, but I can't. Just brushing your teeth, needing to get into the portalong because I can't breathe at the end of the day, and we all want to socialize at night sometimes, and I just can't do that. I need to be in the lung. So the portalong? The portalong is a negative pressure respirator, as you can see, where my head is sticking out and the rest of my body is inside this chamber. And what it's doing is it is moving when it inhales, my lungs go up and my diaphragm goes down. In exhalation, it's blowing the CO2 that tends to build up inside of me without respiration, tends to build up to an extent that I can't survive. I'm from a very devout Catholic family, Roman Catholic family. We had a habit in our family of praying the rosary every night as a family. Each of us took turns saying a mystery. Daily mass was very important, and life was very important in our family, as you can imagine. My prayer life with God. If I need answers to questions that I have, why certain things are happening in my life or other people's lives, people are suffering, I ask the question, why? Why does this have to happen to them? I want the answers now. The definition of now for me is not the same as definition of now for God. So, what does that mean? That means he asked me to be patient. Well, I don't want to be patient right now. The answer is too bad. Offer it up. So that kind of dialogue with God is kind of like how you talk to a friend, right? You're not shy, you're not holding back anything. This is who I am, and that's who God is. And so he wants us to be ourselves. And I don't want to be anybody but myself, because why? That's too much work. It's all about how I look at suffering, the purpose of suffering, and what purpose do I want it to have for me? That's really important. People have to ask themselves, what purpose do I want my suffering to have for me? Because the world tells us, get rid of it, throw it away. Put yourself out of your misery and you won't have any more suffering. Guess what? You're gonna suffer for all eternity. And that's a lot longer to suffer than suffering on this earth. I love the cross that he's given me. I will to love the cross he has given me. And that is a daily choice. Maybe even multiple times a day. Because some days I don't really feel very good. Some days my body is just putting me through a kind of hell. And then I have to focus on other things. I literally have to distract myself with people, with prayer, with doing any good for somebody else that I can do, so that I can will to love my cross. Because if I'm gonna dwell on what I can't have, then I'm gonna be a really sad person. Do I love my cross in the sense of loving a piece of candy or a piece of chocolate cake? No. Absolutely not. I do not love my cross in that way. The answer is, how do I find the faith and love for the cross? That is Jesus looking at a crucifix and seeing how he suffered for me, and then saying, I want to be like him.